Two quick questions, Jimmy. You've denied it before, but is playoff Jimmy a thing? Are you ready to?
It's not a thing. It's not. I just be hooping.
And the Miami Heat become the 6th in NBA history to win as an 8th seed in the first round.
The Miami Heat have done it yet again. They are headed back to the Eastern Conference Finals.
The Larry Bird Trophy. And Alonzo?
Jimmy Butler.
Wait, hold on. How exactly did we get here? Let's backtrack a little bit. Because if we were in the regular season, me and you were having a conversation, and you were to sit here and tell me that the Miami Heat will go to the first round and almost sweep the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks, I would have thought you were insane. Now, if you were to tell me they also went to the second round, beat the New York Knicks, I would have believed you. But to also tell me they went to the third round, beat the number 2 seed Boston Celtics to go to the NBA Finals, I would have thought you were on drugs. Because that is such a ridiculous statement to make. But no, we're hearing it happen, so let's talk about it. In the regular season, the Miami Heat ended with a record of 44-38, while they finished 30th in points scored per game, 27th in rebounds scored per game, and 25th in assists per game. There's 30 teams in the NBA. To finish 30th in points per game is ridiculous, and having a 44-38 record on top of that just makes everything even more mediocre. How did they get to where they are in the playoffs? And once I went through all my 5 stages of grief after almost getting swept in the first round, I finally opened my eyes and saw the dog inside of Jimmy Butler. His leadership skills, tenacity, and defensive mind on the court clearly showed in every round of the playoffs, especially against the Bucks, almost sweeping us. Against Boston, they almost sold, and they almost gave up a 3-0 lead, but they came clutch a couple nights ago when they beat the Boston Celtics and spanked them boys in the last quarter of the game to make it to the NBA Finals. Now, this entire NBA season has been surprising and exciting overall, with some big blockbuster trades, including the Kyrie and KD trade when KD went over to the Phoenix Suns, and Kyrie joined forces with Luka Doncic and the Mavericks. On top of that, you have the Los Angeles Lakers having about 20 plus different starting lineups, kicking Westbrook and Pat Beverly off of the team, which they showed some light and hope in the playoffs until they got swept by Denver. To add on to all of the craziness and spectacular things that have happened this season, it's also good to point out that this is the first time in NBA history that the Denver Nuggets have reached the finals in their entire 56 years of their franchise being a thing. While these events have played out shockingly in the Heat's favor during these playoffs, Denver is still the number 1 seed with the best player on their team, and I believe the best duo in the NBA right now as well between Jokic and Murray. They have the highest probability of taking it all, but with that being said, history has shown that we can't count out Miami, especially when they are at home with their Heat culture. To start with Butler's playoff performance, extraordinary would honestly be an understatement. This is only the second 8th seed in NBA history to make the finals. As if Butler wasn't already locked into the Hall of Fame, this performance solidifies his spot in superstardom. In each series of these playoffs, Butler has been the one to close the curtains, putting up ridiculous step-back threes on top of contested fadeaway jumpers and tough attacks to the basket overall. He's been the one calling the shots, and it led them to an NBA Finals yet again, recalling back from 2020. While Jimmy is a terrific clutch player, it is his leadership that allows the Heat to have a fighting chance against any team. He thrives off of holding himself and his teammates accountable, pushing them to give their best on and off the court. This leadership style has garnered respect and admiration from his peers, making him a natural choice to lead his team to success. Miami came into the postseason as a play-in tournament team, and ironically, they lost their first game to the Atlanta Hawks 116-105. They still had a small light at the end of the tunnel going up against Chicago in a winner-go-home situation. Despite trailing late in the fourth quarter, Miami sparked a comeback that would send them to face the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks. Now, honestly, as an innocent Bucks fan, I was more than comfortable with this matchup going into the first round, despite Giannis being out for 3 out of the 5 games. Jimmy and the Heat will go on to embarrass Milwaukee in an almost sweeping fashion, with Butler averaging a cool 37 points. Miami then goes on to face New York in the Eastern Conference semifinals, taking a 4-2 victory in a series that was honestly never really close. Brunson played very well, but it wasn't enough to carry the New York Knicks on his back. Saddening day for Stephen A. Smith and Spike Lee. Now going into the third and honestly most exciting series of these playoffs since LA versus Golden State, Miami takes on the number 2 seed Boston Celtics and jumping to an early 3-0 lead. The series was looking in the Heat's favor for a sweep until Boston managed to steal one in Miami. Going back to TD Garden, Boston goes on to win Game 5 to make the series 3-2. Now Game 6 is when the plot thickens. In a very close game, Miami has a 1-point lead with exactly 3 seconds on the shot clock. Boston is inbounding the ball, looking to set up an open 3 by Smart, which rims out conveniently for Derek White to catch it and put it back up before the buzzer, sending this series to Game 7 back in Boston. Now this is when Jaylen Brown and Tatum decided to shit the bed. Miami didn't just win, but they dominated with a 103-84 final score in Game 7 in TD Garden. That's almost a 20-point lead in a game that was never close to begin with, sending Miami back to the NBA Finals to face the number 1 seed Denver Nuggets. At the point of recording this video, Miami and Denver have already played Game 2 and are going on to Game 3 with the series being tied at 1-1. So far, Jokic has looked like he's been playing a pickup game in the finals, but if Miami can continue to hit shots beyond the arc, this series might just go to 7. With Game 3 going back to South Beach, you can count on the Heat culture to be rocking in the building after stealing one on Denver's home court. I'm still fairly confident in Denver taking it all, but yet again, I wouldn't be making this video if it weren't for Michael Jordan's son. As of right now, this finals matchup is a dogfight. Only casual sports fans are calling it a boring series, just because it's not Boston or LA, but there is a reason for that. It's because the Joker is the best player in the world, and South Beach has the hungriest squad in the East. Can Jokic and Murray lead their squad to Denver's very first NBA championship? Or will Jimmy respond, making his team the first 8th seed to ever get a title, as well as his own first ring? I don't think a lot of us are really processing the situation going down. This is a true underdog story. Either way, history will be made in the next couple of weeks. If you guys enjoyed the video, comment down below who you have winning and in what game. Me personally, I'm taking Jimmy Buckets. After witnessing the violation he committed on Milwaukee, I'm honestly terrified of what he has to hold, and I don't think Denver knows either. Now, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and it means the world to me, really. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future, and I look forward to working on the next banger.